welcome to Pick Central. My name is Martin Mush. I am here with Big Ev, Smitty, and Clemmer is walking in. Oh, whoa.
There he
Almost
is.
just died.
Got the hiccups.
There's a Clem bag. This episode is presented by Barstool Sports, Sportsbook. The guy next to me has, this guy next to me has the hit parade that's doing fantastic.
Doing very well now.
The guy next to me, to my right, does trusted data, and you are 6-4. I'll
Correct.
get to that in a second.
We're just giving Clemmer trust the data.
Well, he's the
trusted data protege.
JV.
Okay,
trusted
okay.
data.
Yes.
Jay gave it to him.
Okay,
So it wasn't me
okay,
giving it to
okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just.
The torch been passed for baseball.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
You're JV trusted data.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take that. It's a compliment.
Training.
So if you are in any of the states that our Barstool Sportsbook is there, go get it. You get a free sign up. It's the best app. We've told you thousands and thousands of times. The casino part of it is also one of the best. I play it all the time in Jersey, so go download it now. All right. First of all, tell me my shirt's not sick.
Strong shirt.
That was the first thing I said to you this morning. That's a sick shirt.
Strong shirt, right? I thought
What's
you
it
would have
say?
liked it more. What's it
Seattle
say?
Supersonics. That's pretty good.
Thanks, dude.
Actually, this is Sonics.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's
yeah.
Sonic.
All right, it's good. Yeah,
All right.
I like it.
Shots fired, Alex Bennett.
Yeah, no, she took this team away from me.
It's true.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. It's really sad that
Those
this.
poor Seattle fans.
I mean, this is a sick, like the colors, just everything.
When you walked by her in the office, was she upset with the shirt?
Was that a joke that she's not here?
That's right.
Got it.
Nothing gets by
Got
you.
it.
Look at that Marty Mush, huh?
Got
Woo!
it. Big Ev's wearing LSU pants. I gotta be honest, I didn't watch it at all. The college baseball doesn't
What's
really
up,
get
baby?
to me. How was it?
Well, I stopped watching because it was just such a massacre.
Yeah, it's.
But it was just an easy. I
So
bet
it was
on
an
them, easy
anticlimactic.
win.
Like they won 2-1, like in the series. And usually that's a
The last two games.
last two
stunk.
games were blowouts.
They stunk.
right?
Yeah. Well, this game was actually coincidentally both the team that lost jumped out to the early lead. Like Florida hit a big, like I think they're hit like a big, like a bomb 2-run home run in the first, and then I think it was they scored 6, I believe, in the next inning, the LSU, and they kind of just they just kept scoring. It got like by
That
the
guy's start that we were talking
he
about.
didn't even pitch. I don't think.
He didn't even pitch.
No, I don't think so.
Jesus.
He didn't start, and then they were up so much they didn't. I stopped watching after like the 5th inning because they were just up like 12-2. And I don't believe he ended up going in. I mean, they didn't really need him. They were up so big, there was no point to put him in at that point.
Yeah, I'm not gonna harp on the college baseball too much because LSU won and it was a blowout.
I love LSU.
You're an LSU guy.
Going like now that I've been there a few times, there's like in like an alternate universe, I ended up at LSU.
Did you see that Jello shot thing? Another guy, like, so Todd Graves bought a shit ton of them, like, to put him over the record, and then a lawyer from LSU bought $44,000 worth of Jello shots. That's insane. And so, how many Jello shots did they end up getting? Do you know, Zah? Zah's pulling up.
There's gotta
Right
be-
now.
there's gotta be a
This
picture.
guy's quick.
Now, when you do
Zah's
that,
quick.
are you actually trying to? You actually need the Jello? Like, are they getting the Jello
Yeah,
shots
you're
as
getting
well?
the Jello shots.
What do you do with?
You take Jello shots.
60
I
The whole
know.
bar.
What do you do with thousands and thousands of them,
The
though?
whole bar gets
You
it.
drink them.
You eat them.
I understand, but there's so many. That's so many Jello shots that not. I don't think it's even possible
I mean,
people could drink that.
Oh,
many.
there is. How many
It was,
Jello shots?
it was over a period of time.
Okay.
It's $5 a shot. So how many?
It was over the duration of the College World Series. So what is that?
but
I mean,
yesterday.
44,000.
Bought
That's
44,000.
9,000 Jello shots.
You know,
Yesterday.
What are you
he
gonna do
bought
with 9,000 Jello shots?
I think you'd be surprised why Louisianians can drink.
Yeah, and I think there's also so many
Or eat
people that
Jell-O.
at this bar that. So I mean, I think it's throughout the night probably. They
Also,
have
there's probably a point in time where Stanford fans start eating some of those Jello shots, and Tennessee fans, maybe not Tennessee, but some of the other like non-SEC teams start being like, you know what, fuck it, give me a shot.
Yeah,
I mean, even to make 9,000, that's a lot of Jello. Like that,
It's a lot of Jello, but at $5 a pop, that's a racket right there.
Oh, they
That's
made a
50
killing.
cents a pop.
They made a killing.
So I
Hey,
was
if that was 50 cents a pop, they're millionaires.
So I went down
$5
there-
a pop?
I went down there with Dana, and the CEO of Raising Cane's bought, I think,
Todd Graves, yeah.
Todd Graves. I forget how many he bought, but he bought so many. They have such a good system. They have like a whole station where they're just simply making Jello shots the entire time, and everybody is just drinking Jello shots. It was a very, very cool vibe.
I heard they made just in Jello shots over $350,000.
Well, I just did the math. This is just like the price that was paid for them. So not like profit, whatever. But just on LSU Jello shots alone, $324,000 and $324 and $40.
So you did the math. You multiplied 66,000 by 5.
Yes. Well, but I mean, you would do that off the top of your head, asshole.
You also added up all the schools and everything.
No, that was just LSU.
I know.
All right.
Yeah, I did it by 5. Like what? I mean, I did.
How would use a calculator?
How else?
Crush the numbers over here, Smitty. Leave him alone.
How else would I like articulate that to you? I did the math. Like what I
He did it. He did the math, Smitty. You
Is
can't.
multiplication not math?
You did the math.
But like, but how else should I have worded that?
Probably just
No
could
other
have
way, I
said
guess.
the amount.
Yeah, it just sounded like we were doing calculus.
Well, no, I pulled out my calculator on my phone.
Did the math.
Yeah.
It was 64,808
Random.
times 5, which turned out to be 324,040.
I'm not no free ads, but
It's just LSU Jello shots.
they are an
It probably
ad.
totaled almost $1 million.
Just real quick, the Canes opened up in Times Square today. Just they're so good.
Good people.
All right, that's some LSU Jello shot talk. I mean, that's
Ev, you want to know why I thought that was funny? It reminded me of the time we were pitching last year, the Barstool Poker Tour to Dave on the Dave Portnoy show, and Ben Minch just out of nowhere says, "I did the cost analysis on this one."
Cost analysis. See, if I had said cost analysis, I would have said flame my ass.
the Jello shot thing is probably one of the smartest things they do there because I mean the College World Series I've been, it's a party. There's a DJ every night. It's awesome. It's because I think that's the only thing you can do in Nebraska. And it was really, really fun. But the Jello shot thing is very smart because everyone goes there. And then like even the players show up sometimes because they're over 21. So like some of the seniors just show up and do.
I mean, think one of your team's knocked out. Why
Yeah,
not?
when they get knocked out.
And like them making it a competition.
Yeah, exactly.
That money goes to charity too. It's not like
Yeah. I know some of it goes right. Like
well, yeah, not all of
I
it,
think
but
half of it goes to it, which is
yeah,
awesome.
the teams are the schools like choice of charity. Yeah.
It's literally turning these guys in competitions like, oh, I'm going to stick you by giving them all my money.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm going to give them more money.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh no, what are we going to do with all this money?
That's why there's $44,000. Like this was a tax write for this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for this guy, but he's just
Smart.
a little tax write off.
Smart.
Let's get to a couple topics before I have 3 topics to get to before we get to the rest of the show. That's baseball. It's what it is now. Unless something happens in the NFL or trades in the NBA or anything, we'll get to it. Baseball's the only thing happening right now. First topic, quick one. I was watching a video today. First of all, Pink still performs. That was shocking. And
Why would that be shocking?
I didn't know Pink was still going.
Yeah, I mean everyone's still
Pink
going. Rolling Stones
goes
is still
hard.
Oh, Pink's awesome. I didn't know she was still going. But
Pride of Doylestown, PA, baby.
she was performing, and someone threw their mom's ashes at her. You just can't do that. We need to stop as a society to throwing stuff on stage at the performers.
What if the
Her
mom really liked Pink?
That's what I was going to say. Her mom must have loved
It doesn't even
Pink
matter. Because the Pink, honestly, can we watch the video? We could watch it, right? The phone video. Type in Pink's ashes, because she picks it up, and was just like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Like just an urn.
She goes, I don't know how to feel about this, and then look.
This is your mom? I don't know how to feel about this.
And she just starts singing the rest of the song.
They're one of her jams too.
Yeah, one of the best songs. So this person
Had to be her mom's favorite song. I would
ruined
think.
the best song that she
Had
had.
to be her mom's favorite song. I mean, I would think.
She put it in a plastic bag. Your mom shouldn't be in a plastic bag.
No, that was an urn.
No, it was in a plastic
Was
bag.
that a bag? I thought it was a little thing. I thought it was a
it
little.
was a plastic
oh no.
bag.
I got a different one, so it's better. I would rather do this. I saw a clip at an Adele concert where the husband had lost his wife, I think, like a year prior or whatever, and he just like held up his phone with his wife's picture on it as Adele was walking through the crowd, and she noticed it and like pointed at him, and then she gets like all emotional after and starts talking about it. Way more appropriate than
Way
throwing a
more
bag of
appropriate.
ashes up on the stage.
Way more appropriate. I'm sorry your mom died, but just make a sign. don't.
Do you think that person got the ashes back, or do you think
No, those
like
ashes,
those ashes are gone?
those ashes are gone.
Yeah, some janitor swept them up.
Second
stage.
topic.
Well, I could see someone doing it like. How would you feel if it was like a big it was like a field type concert, and she spread them almost like on the like lawn.
She should have done that. She should have thrown them up.
If her mom was like this massive Pink fan kind of thing.
Yeah, throw them
There
in the air.
there was an Eagles fan arrested for rushing the field a couple years ago and spreading his dad's ashes on the field.
See, now that's worth it.
I find that acceptable.
That's
worth
very
it.
much
that
so
as
worth
well.
1,000%.
That's you're not
I do that for my dad.
you're not pouring it
Even
on
the Eagles kill him. By the way.
Jalen. You're not pouring it on Jalen Hurts' head. You're just going on the field
Yeah.
and doing it. That's what I'm okay with that. Second, we just have to talk about it quick. Our old co-worker intern is just on The Bachelorette.
For some context, this is a deep cut. We were talking 5 years ago. I rubbed elbows with this young man for about 4 months.
I mean,
We were interns together, like on the same table.
he was itching to
downstairs.
be in contact.
Oh, itching. Any
And
moment.
Everyone,
anything
his
he
name
could.
was Hot Sean. So
He's a
his
very
ego
attractive
was
fella.
stroking nonstop, and he was on The Bachelorette last.
Well, he was one who, like, the second he walked in, like, our intern class is funny thing about it now. Like, the guys that are still around, it's like me, Spider, like Chef Donnie, Ben DiGiulio. I think that's it. From like that was
Not
that's
let's
still,
just nice,
and then
not
Hot
like
Sean.
the most like whoa hot guys.
No, I would consider none of us like hot guys for sure. There's like no like I think some charm in there, but no natural good
Yeah.
looks. I would and Chef Donnie's a good looking cat.
Yeah,
I'll give Chef Donnie some love. Good looking cat, but yeah, I mean he definitely loved that he was initially called Hot Sean.
Yeah.
He loved it.
Before we keep going, I want to take some calls today. Let's put the number up on the screen whenever we can, and we'll talk baseball, whatever you guys want to talk about. The next thing that I want to talk about is Chris Clemens' list of baseball. We're getting into baseball now.
my list.
It is part of your list.
Yes.
You're part.
I can
Smitty,
submit
I
to
just
it.
want to see if you, when we pull up this graph, if you want to call in, it's 888-786-6522. It is 888-786-6522. We'll take any call.
Dual
you guys want.
22. It's easier if you do it that way.
No, because some people don't understand where the letter gets
Who would not understand that?
way harder.
But you'd say it's easier than just pressing the numbers.
Easier for us to say. But
Oh, it's
Yeah,
easier for
I'm
us.
not.
You don't think
I go the
people-
extra mile for fucking
that's
people,
nice.
Clemens.
You don't think that people know what that means, like how that works?
No, I really do. I truly do think.
People know how it works, but it's just
I truly do think some
it's just
people
the
be
which
like,
one's S, which
Yeah.
one's O, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
It's like bang bang bang,
Yeah, yeah,
786.
Yeah. So Smitty, because we talked
Yes.
about this before. Is there a team in here that you see a problem with? Can you see it? I'm not sure if you can see it.
I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's multiple problems on this list if we're talking. I see.
Who's your biggest problem with this list?
I think the Cubs at 7.
Okay, because
That-
that's
that's-
exactly. So this is a top 9 teams
Right.
in
There's
baseball.
a weekly
Yeah.
power ranking
Right
every
now.
week. Barstool Baseball. Check it out.
Let me just.
We have to explain it.
No,
Yeah,
I am
we
going to
have
explain it. I'm going to explain. It's the top 9 teams in baseball.
Right.
Power rankings right this second. Not what they're going to do later. It's right this second. So me and Big Ev looked at this list yesterday, and I thought I was mistaken because I was like, all right, number 7, the Cubs, they must be doing way better than. And then they're 37 and 39.
Well, they've won 9 of their last 11, right?
I understand.
So they're playing really good right now.
So but then
I mean, Phillies have won 15 of the last 19. They don't sniff this.
No, they were on the week before. No, that's a fair take on the Phillies for sure. The Cubs. The other reason I have the Cubs here too is there's a few different criteria when I do the power ranking, and one of them is I think the Cubs have a much clearer path to the playoffs than the Phillies do. I think the Cubs are going to win that division. So
So it's on potential.
Yeah, there's some of that in there. For
so
sure.
he switches back and forth.
Yeah,
with
I
you when you
rank it
go-
on a few different things.
Because then I go, you're going to tell me right this second.
Who's
better right now, Smitty? The
not having
Astros.
the Dodgers 7 above all 3 of those teams is a little tough.
Who's
in
better
my
right
mind.
now, Smitty? The Astros or the Cubs? Who are you gonna take?
Right now, I mean, precedent over probability. What's going to happen? Even probability. What's going to happen? Astros.
Yeah, it's the Astros.
The Astros is a fair one.
I just think that you guys.
Framber is pitching really well.
Yeah, I just think the Cubs are not the 7th best team in baseball right this second.
Okay, that's fine. I disagree. I think the Cubs are. Like I said, you want to have the Astros ahead of them. I'm not going to argue that because that's a very fair team.
Well, what
to have
about
there.
where are the Dodgers on that? I mean,
The Dodgers have some problems right now. The Dodgers
They're still 9 games above 500, only 3 games back in the West.
right, but the Dodgers I think have a more difficult path to the playoffs. But the bigger issue with the Dodgers though is that pitching staff. Although it is starting to solidify, they're getting Julio Urias back this week. It looks like. So I mean, once that pitching settles in, I'm sure the Dodgers will be there next week or the week after.
But I would disagree that it's the Dodgers. I would say disagree the Cubs have it easier to make the playoffs because the Dodgers have multiple ways in.
The West or the Wild.
Like the Cubs, I think have one. They have one way. If they don't win their division, they're probably fucked. And this is nitpicking. I would just put the Marlins. Like the Reds have been on a insane tear.
Well,
as well.
not the last 3 games. And the Reds.
But you said 9. They won 12 in a row. So they won if they won 12 of 15.
Right, but the Reds also have, I think, some huge Achilles heels. Well, one huge Achilles heel that starting
You
with
said the starting pitching. We've talked
is a
about
disaster. It's more. It's one of the worst starting pitchers you ever see on a team that's over 500. It's horrendous.
But they all have potential, though. They all can turn it on like that.
Who?
Lodolo throws gas.
Lodolo's in the
Hunter
60-day.
Green-
Lodolo's on the 60-day IL.
When Hunter Green gets back, he
Okay,
throws
Hunter Green's
gas.
very good. You like
Ashcraft.
Ashcraft. You're a big Ashcraft fan. What's his ERA, Smitty? You know, it's 7.5.
Loves hating on Ashcraft.
7.5.
Loves hating on Ashcraft.
Because he stinks.
He accused me of not knowing who he was yesterday.
He has absolute stuff sometimes. I'm saying he has potential. I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying he
Potential.
has potential.
Smitty, I mean,
That's
ERA
also,
is
that's
7.5.
also your 4th, 5th starter, and you're basically.
He's their 3rd starter.
Well, I mean, when everyone's healthy, he's like
He's their 3rd starter when everyone's healthy.
no,
didn't you
absolutely
mention
not.
Abbott?
Who's ahead of them? Abbott and Green.
And I'm saying Lodolo when he's healthy. We're saying when they're healthy.
Lodolo, forget Lodolo. He's gone. So you have
We're saying when their pitching staff's healthy. He the way they drew it up.
Lodolo's ERA is 6, by the way, this year.
But
It's not like there's
He
like
hasn't-
Cy Young's in this
But
rotation.
I'm saying but I think you're being too like.
I like this graph.
I think what you're doing is you're nitpicking too much for when you want to do the Cubs. You say, oh, they played great like this week.
Cubs have a
But then you-
3-man staff.
I'm not talking about like I'm saying like you nitpick too much where you use the small sample size to your advantage.
There's
when
no
you-
small sample size.
And then use it like against other teams. Like
Small sample size is Marcus Stroman
No,
might be the Cy Young winner in the National League.
But he just pitched. But he just had such a horrible outing, and now he's hurt.
That's fine, but he's hurt. Well, he had blisters. You also have Drew Smiley. You have Justin Steele. You have Kyle Hendricks.
Aaron Judge is hurt. It's just a fucking
Aaron
toe.
Judge is out for months.
Just a toe.
I didn't bring up the
Toe,
Yankees.
bro.
I have not brought up the Yankees.
Oh, I'm trying my hardest to not bring up the.
No, 'cause there's so many.
I
other,
don't understand your
I don't-
point, Ev. So you think the Reds, you
I
and
think they
Smitty
should've
think
had
the
the
Reds have a
Cubs in
good
this.
rotation? Where are we with the Reds?
No. I'm saying I think they should have been ahead of the Cubs. Was my point.
Okay, I don't. And
They're not that
they
far
proved
behind. so
themselves
it's
really
whatever.
well yesterday again by getting knocked around by the Orioles 10-3.
The Orioles are very good.
I think it's a slap in the face to all of Major League Baseball to put anybody in the NL Central or AL Central in the top 9.
Smitty, show up. Come on Barstool Baseball then. Talk about
I
it.
was 2
He
days
was.
ago.
No, but the power ranking show, not the NL or AL.
Oh, yeah.
I said the
I'll
same thing
very
that I
gladly
would
show up.
because if we go through, I want to do a. Colin, you could even chime in here. Let's go through teams. Who's better than the Cubs right now?
He's so fixated on the Cubs. The rest of the
Because there's not
ranking is
okay.
The Cubs
they were
also
just
have
the glaring one.
all right.
Cubs
so
are-
why are the Cubs good? Why are the Cubs? That's the
I
question.
don't know if I'd say.
I don't think
very
they're bad.
mediocre.
No, why
I
are
don't
they?
think-
Why have they been good in the last month? Why are they playing so well in June? And there's a reason. Christopher Morel, he's slugging over 600. He's changed the entire
I want to
lineup
date Christopher Morel.
because he's a total difference maker in that division.
Clemmer, call it what it is. If the Cubs weren't in the NL Central, they wouldn't be on this list.
I agree.
They just wouldn't. They'd be a below 500.
I absolutely agree, Smitty.
Okay. So why do they get the credit? Just
Because
of
they
the
have an
division they're
easier
in
path
compared
to
like, the
playoffs
Dodgers?
because of that division. I like them.
I honestly don't think they do because what Big F said, they need to win the division.
You could
The
almost
Brewers
The
argue-
are
division
on
is awful. You just said no one should be in the power ranking from either division,
shouldn't.
AL or NL.
They shouldn't,
So the
but the
division must be
Brewers-
pretty easy if that's the case.
But the Brewers aren't playing bad. The Reds.
The Brewers
are
can't hit
not
left-handed
playing
pitching, Smitty. They're playing David Peterson today.
So
the
you're
Mets
saying
are
it's a
favored
division
minus
full of
140.
shit?
They can't hit lefties. That's a
So
problem
it's a
for the
division
Brewers.
full of shit. So why are the Cubs and Reds top 9 in the Major League Baseball then?
I don't think the
In your
Reds.
opinion.
I don't love the
These
Reds
are your
there.
fucking list, Clever. The Reds are on your fucking list. Why are they
It's
top
not
9
my
then?
list, you dumb block-headed fuck. It's not my list. It's a group of people who put it together. Listen to the fucking show.
Well, you were 7th.
I had that pick. I put the Cubs out there. It didn't get vetoed down, and they land there. You're a better team. You Reds. I'll explain all day.
For the sake of, there's a genuine question. How is the list, like, is it a draft list? Like, how exactly is it put together?
I love this. You guys criticize it. You know you could
You put out a list.
No, you know
That's
it's a
good,
bad
that's
list.
good.
You could have spent an hour and listened to the fucking
No.
show before you attack the list.
No.
Well, now that we've talked so
Problem.
much about the
This is
list,
a-
I'm
this
just
is a problem where
what was the
people talk
genuine-
about shit they have no idea about, like the Reds.
No, I
starting
know.
pitching.
I know what a
The
list
Cubs.
is. When a
Why
list
they
is
good?
1
This
through
is
9.
a fucking problem.
When a list is 1 through
There's
9,
no
I know when the
consistency
7 is the fucking 37, 39. They're not a fucking good baseball team. I know that. That's what a list is. When I see a list and it's ranked 1 through 9, if you're 7th, that means you're the 7th best team in baseball. That's
Also,
what that
Milwaukee
means.
Milwaukee Brewers beat Justin Verlander last night.
They did. The Mets stink. And how many runs did they score? They scored 2. That offense is awful. They're facing a
you?
left-handed pitcher today with an 8 ERA. Watch what happens.
Explain the list.
Watch what happens.
Explain the list. Explain what goes into it.
just the selection process. That's all.
Oh, there's usually 4 of us. Everyone gets a turn.
Okay.
Throw a team out there. If the rest of the panel vetoes it, then that team doesn't get to be in that spot.
Okay.
So, for instance, like Rays at 1. It's pretty clear cut.
Okay. Got it.
Next guy will pick Braves. Is how it's been most of the
fair.
year. The bottom of the list has had a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of teams that kind of like jockeying for position there.
So it is.
Well, then I'm shocked that the Cubs didn't get vetoed.
Well, that's
would be a veto
that's what I
at
was gonna say. So when you throw out Cubs at 7, what's the conversation?
There was some shock for sure.
You have a Cubs fan in the group,
Right.
but I know him at least when it comes to baseball to be more.
No, Carlos.
not biased.
Fair. Like
Also,
we don't
this
have the
is-
Mets on the list, right?
This
Because the Mets
is
are
your list, though, because then you can
Clemmer,
veto stuff.
you're just lucky Rico isn't here because you just said list way too many times.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of list talk.
it's true. Don't bring up the list.
Carl was so worried about it that everyone was going to think it was his
Right.
pick.
Which I did.
That's how bad of a pick.
That's
that
why it
everyone
came
thinks
up. I
it
was like,
is.
oh, I like what Carl. I said
completely
Carl's
own
doing.
it. I own the pick. I think the Cubs are in a really good spot.
You can almost argue. You can almost argue the whole American East is better than the Cubs.
They all have a better record.
You can argue it.
I think the Cubs are probably better than the Red Sox, but the other 4 teams are better.
So where's the was it?
Because I don't
Blue
think
Jays or
because the Blue Jays are a mess. The Yankees The Yankees with Judge are certainly better. Without Judge, they're not. They can't hit.
But that's the thing where it's like
That's a problem.
no, but they're just better than the Cubs no matter what.
It's not no matter what, Marty. Things aren't that simple.
No, it
There's
is.
some complexities. There's some depth to things.
The Cubs have been completely healthy. They're below 500.
I wouldn't say they've been completely healthy. They just got Kyle Hendricks back. He's
Pretty
only
healthy.
he's only made 6 starts, and he's been pretty fucking good in those 6 starts. That's a big addition to that rotation.
Yeah, and then okay, we're adding Rodon next week.
They also had Clay Bellinger miss a good portion of time. They haven't been completely healthy.
That's the thing. The Yankees haven't either, and they're
Cody.
still.
The Yankees,
MVP,
if you have
MVP,
Rodon
Cody
and you have Judge, the Yankees are a better team. But you don't have either of those guys.
I'm trying not to make it the Yankees, but
I'm doing for the sake of because it gets thrown back. I'm doing 0 Yankees talk.
trying not to. But the Yankees.
There's just many other teams that you could say above the Cubs. You don't need to play the Yankees card. Yankees is obvious in my opinion, but
Okay, what would you say about the? Would you say the Twins?
No.
That one I could argue with. I don't think so.
No.
The Rangers are better.
Absolutely.
The Astros are better.
sure.
Okay.
I would say the Angels are better.
Yeah.
The Angels are a tough team to kind of get your hands around. Reed Detmers is fantastic. He's pitching like the last 4 starts. His ERA is I think like 1.5. He's been incredible. Obviously, you have Ohtani. So there's a lot of things I like about the Angels. There's some things that kind of frighten me with them.
Braves.
And I think they have a
better.
difficult road to the playoffs.
Marlins. I think the Marlins are better than the Cubs.
They definitely are.
That's fine. I mean, I think they were
It's fine.
the
It
team
was-
we had right under
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I think the Phillies are better.
okay. I think the
and the whole
Phillies have a more
Central-
difficult road to the playoffs.
Central, you can the Central you can literally
you can-
just
yeah,
whatever, and then the West, the Diamondbacks, Giants, and Dodgers, and then like the
We have the
Padres,
Diamondbacks and Giants both ahead of the Cubs.
Yeah, the Dodgers is what you're missing too. So all right, there's just weird.
Dodgers will probably be on the list in 2 weeks. That starting rotation has some real problems. If they're starting a guy like Michael Grove every fifth day, it's not a good. It's a team that has some issues.
You say that like I have a question though. When you say they have problems and stuff, right? And they've had problems, and they're 6-7 games over 500. Why, like, they're like doing okay with their problems?
How did they
They're
get?
doing
To,
better
how did
with
they get
their-
to 6 or 7 games above 500? They were in a better spot before, and their starting rotation took a huge dump with some of these guys that got hurt. Not only that, but they were also relied way too much on Syndergaard, who's been terrible this year.
He stinks.
He's horrible.
He's horrible. He's not even a major league pitcher anymore.
But is there no like? I mean, I guess the question answers itself without the Astros either. There's no like there's no almost like the pedigree involved in this rank. It's just
I don't give a fuck about pedigree. No one should. Just because you wear pinstripes or you have 27
why are we-
quarterbacks, no one should give a fuck.
I'm talking about like
But
the
it's not about the
Astros and the
pedigree.
Dodgers. Like I didn't like not.
The Astros literally like
teams that have that are the teams that have been perennially winning the
proven
last
to just be in
decade
the World Series all
have
the
this
time.
pretty much this very similar cores, especially the
Like,
Astros.
if-
The Astros have like the same team.
So the
If
Phillies
you're
went
going
for,
to take the Cubs on potential, you have to take the Astros on potential.
That's what I'm
too.
saying. Like it makes.
I'm
makes
not
no
going to argue the
sense.
Astros
It makes
because
no
the
sense.
Astros are a very valid pick.
Like the Dodgers.
I'm
Too.
not
I think
gonna-
the
Yeah,
Dodgers
same
have
thing for
lost.
the
The Dodgers
same
have
thing for
lost
the
some.
Phillies.
The
Still.
Phillies have the Phillies. I think have a difficult role. I think look by the end of the year, are you going to see the Reds on that list? I don't think you're going to. I think you're going to see teams like the Phillies, the Astros, obviously be on there. This was for this week. At that moment in time, the Cubs have won 8 of the last 10. I think they have a really good shot at making the playoffs. That's why I put them there.
Clever makes up his own rules.
I don't.
This
explain
list is Clemens' rules. There's
Yeah.
there's
The
no
pa-
rhyme
the
or
whole
reason. to
panel
this.
that picks them. So
I don't know. Actually, Smitty asked this. We just did hot ice. Give me your two right now. Your two World Series teams.
I hate this. I mean, it's Rays and Braves, but it's not fair. I mean, that's
No, I don't think
things don't
I would not even-
matriculate that way.
No,
But it's,
I mean,
it's just
I've
right
had,
now.
I've
It's just
had a
right
good
now.
point.
You're
I mean, the
answering-
Rays
you're
and
answering
Braves are the
change in
two
a
best
month.
teams in baseball.
But you think when it's all. But I'm saying right now. You think when it's.
I have
all,
no idea, man. I wouldn't have said this time last year. I wouldn't have said the Phillies would even
You
sniff
won't
the
even
World
play
Series.
your game.
No,
that's
I'm
why
just
they were
trying to
plus
play like we're having a.
I gave you an answer. What do you want from
You
me,
gave me-
blood?
you
gave
can
a
have an
fucking
answer.
You gave, but I'm saying answer the question, not just like.
Why do you get
The
so
ones-
defensive in this
You get-
shit?
Give an answer, and I'm told I'm not giving an
No,
answer.
you said you
No,
got mad about
I'm
it.
saying I'm
do get mad about it.
diving deeper into the question. I'm saying, but in that answer, I'm diving.
It's,
deeper into the
it's kind of a stupid question.
Why is that
No, it's not.
stupid?
Listen, the
Who's going to
fucking
come out
F,
of
he has
each
great reasoning.
division or come out
Listen
each
to F.
league?
Because it's
But my question
so
is:
much-
Is that based
so
on
many
just?
elements involved.
Is that based on they're both the one seed, or is that based on you think they have you think both teams are gonna like get through the gauntlet that is the MLB playoffs?
That's the thing. The gauntlet, there's so many variables that's really hard to nail down. Now, I would probably go with whoever has the best front line, 3 starting pitchers, has a good offense, really good team. The Braves and Rays both have that. Now, McClanahan's health worries me. Glasnow's health always worries me. So the Rays, yes, they're the best team in baseball, but do I think they have the best chance of making the World Series? I don't know. The playoffs are tough, man.
I'd say maybe a team, and this is where I'm being completely
Different in the
biased.
NBA with
saying
that.
maybe a team like the Astros, who maybe they're not winning the division right now, maybe, but a team that has pedigree, a team that
I don't care about pedigree. I do care about the fact they have Framber Valdez in that rotation.
But so you're saying a team
The
that's
Astros are very good. I
won
think the Astros are a very good chance.
That team that with its core has won multiple championships,
Okay.
has been clutch in the playoffs. That doesn't mean anything to you when it comes playoff
Not
time.
a ton.
That's just crazy.
Not a ton.
To me, that's I'm gonna use the word stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That's fine.
Like, but so that is
Pedigree matters though.
I
don't think it does. I don't think it matters. I don't think. I think in some cases,
But,
playoff
like,
experience matters. I don't like the
But
pedigree.
That's what it
that's
means.
pedigree.
in some instances.
That's what I mean by
the
pedigree.
Astros.
Now we're doing like
so the
we're doing,
Astros
like,
won the World Series. Won the World Series last year. They have a new first baseman that can't hit, and their ace pitcher is on a different team. So some of those
the
elements
guy also
do
stinks
change.
now. He's not been great.
No, but he
On
was.
your
But
team,
he
you
was
overpaid
great.
him.
Stop for a second. Listen, learn something. Shut the fuck up.
I'm learning. I
have-
know what I'm
you
learning.
have
We're not
Ju-
learning nothing.
Justin Verlander was the ace last year, right?
Right.
So if that's all I'm saying, they don't have that same guy this
They
year.
still have very good pitching.
They absolutely do. But they also have
Valdez, Javier, and I think Brown is
Jose
Also
Abreu
saying
concerned.
like Verlander was their ace,
Of course,
but Valdez was also.
But their lineup is also.
What you're right, and that's the big reason they won the World Series.
But
right?
like one, but
Two
like
aces.
one
Now they have,
guy in the lineup
but-
that's struggling is not making me be like, all right, like they have no chance now.
No, I never said
Like
they
a
had
Bra-
no
like a
chance. I
Abreu-
just said they have a very good chance.
Like Abreu, like not hitting well, obviously is a good.
Them winning the World Series last year isn't a huge factor for me picking them this year.
Even when they have like the same team.
They just said they don't have the same team. They don't have their best pitcher from that team last year.
But he's not that same guy.
It doesn't matter. He was that guy last year. You're asking me to compare it to last year. What he's doing this year has
Seems
no
very
relevance.
similar. You act like it's a different roster. It's crazy. It's very similar.
I didn't say that. I
You
said,
just did.
I said they're
Well,
not the same team.
Yes, they're not exactly the same.
Their best player isn't there anymore. The most important person from that team is no longer there.
Oh. Alvarez, we're talking.
Justin Verlander was the most important part of last year's Astros. I don't know what to tell you guys.
What do you?
I'm with Clemmer on that one.
Talk about stupid. That's pretty fucking stupid.
It was more just
Guy was the World Series Cy Young winning. He was
No, he was very good
easily
in
the
the
most
regular
important
season.
part
He
of
did
it.
not- obviously great
He did not
this
pitch well in
season.
the World Series. He did not pitch well in the World
That was
Series.
more my point. In
Won
the
the Cy
playoffs, he
Young.
was like okay.
That's true.
I guess for me, I'm just focused.
They also won the
Alvarez
division
won
last year, and they're not winning the division so far this year. And a big reason is because they don't have Justin Verlander, but it's the same team. So I don't know. I'm confused, I
It
guess.
seems pretty similar. I mean, they're
Okay.
I mean, Framber Valdez is like
He's awesome.
literally.
He's also very good last
better,
year.
He's better than Verlander.
but see, I guess my point.
Better than
think- I
Verlander
think-
was
I think-
last year?
Well, I think you're playing
I
semantics.
don't think he is. He's very good, though.
If they had kept Verlander, then you would be like, then you could be like, all right, they have the same team, but he's not as good. So what's the difference?
If they still had Verlander, they would be the same team, but not.
And you're saying the roster, like, and you're playing like semantics with me. So like the
I'm not playing
roster-
semantics at all. I'm saying you lost a stat line that is no longer there. That was incredible.
But if you kept him on the roster, it would be the same team. He still wouldn't be because wasn't as good. He's not as good this year as he was.
I
last
agree,
year.
which is why you shouldn't consider things like pedigree all that important. You have to judge what's happening in the moment and judge what's happening that year.
But I'm saying I just
Okay.
trust when it comes. Like, listen, you can do. I'm gonna go as far. I'm about to shit on the Yankees. You could say like this roster of like it almost has like they almost have like an opposite pedigree. Like when it comes to the playoffs, they don't hit. They don't come through in the clutch. The Astros is the opposite. They do come through in the clutch. They hit in the playoffs. And I think when it comes to actually like winning it, when it gets there's one thing to get to the dance. The thing to go there and win the whole thing.
I have one. I'm not. Even
I just think the
trying to
Astros are the most equipped to go there and win the whole thing.
shit on the Mets. I'm not
Yeah,
trying
at
to.
least.
But like they won what? How many games did they win last?
101.
101.
Yep.
Great season.
Yes.
They don't have the pedigree like them in the playoffs. Is not like we know the Mets as like this.
They had Max Scherzer, who won a World Series, so he has pedigree. I don't. The
Mets
pedigree thing doesn't.
do not have pedigree.
So because
I'd say
they have
we're saying
the word
playoff
Mets on the
experience,
uniform,
playoff
they don't have
experience, pedigree.
A lot of the
Lindor played in the World Series.
A lot of the guys.
Scherzer won a World Series.
Okay.
Okay, so there
There's a
was
lot
guys
more
who had
people on
pedigree.
that team that have not.
Okay, right. There's a lot of guys that had, and there are a lot of guys that had.
All right, we could say I'm right. Not a lot. 2.
DeGrom pitched in a World Series. He was on that team. He also won the playoff game.
I just don't.
There's 3.
All right, 3 people. There's
Scherzer lost the playoff game, though. Like, so all that pedigree doesn't necessarily mean a lot. It has to do with what's happening in the moment more than what's happened 4 or 5 years ago.
I'm not saying it means everything. It means part of it. What's,
Okay, I got a point to bring up. The Phillies were plus 4,000 last year to win the World Series. Almost happened. Right now, those odds for teams, like I don't know if there's like a long shot we can think of that like might come close to win the NL or AL or the World Series. Because right now the Braves are plus 375 to win it all. Rays plus 450. Dodgers are next plus 550. Astros, I think, have phenomenal value at plus 700 to win it all again. Rangers plus 1,200. The Bruce Bochy effect in the playoffs, I think, is going to be huge, especially if they get DeGrom back. Yankees are then plus 1,600. Blue Jays plus 1,800. Padres plus 2,100. Orioles plus 2,200. Twins then 2,800. Diamondbacks are still plus 3,000. Angels are plus 3,000. Phillies plus 3,000. Giants plus 3,200. Brewers plus 4,000. Mets still plus 4,000. Guardians plus 5,000. And then the rest.
hey, Mullins.
I still don't think like the Braves are winning at all at plus 375.
Yeah, what was the Marlins there?
80 to 1.
The Marlins are plus 8,000.
Yeah,
Reds are plus 6,000. Red Sox plus
seems
7,000.
wild.
Your Cubbies, you're the best team in the league plus 10,000. Like there's a lot of fucking value there somewhere.
The Marlins have a legit ace. Yuri Perez is a legit
Yeah, but
ace.
they have no bats. They have 0 bats.
Honestly,
They have not zero. They have
a guy batting
they have a guy batting 400. They
Yeah,
also
they're
have
not
Jorge
batting 400
Soler.
with an 800 OPS.
They also have Jorge Soler who's doing pretty good.
Honestly, I know those long
I
shots.
said
the
Soler. So
They
I
also
mean,
have
take
Sanchez is pretty good.
Diamondbacks and the Phillies were the team and price of that were most enticing. Both of them at 30 to 1. I don't think.
Diamondbacks I like because you got Kelly and Gallen, right?
They have two
In a
legit
playoff
pitchers.
series. Yeah.
They've shown they have some bats, and the Phillies, I think when they turn it on,
One worry though with the
very
Diamondbacks.
good, they have very good lineup.
I have a major concern with the Diamondbacks though. No pedigree. Zach Gallen.
No, it's fair. No, it's
Pedigree.
no.
They don't though.
That, no,
You
that,
gotta
that's-
worry about that because
You do.
I know.
You dumb fuck.
I don't. I'll
You
give you
actually
Zach Gallen
do.
every
Don't
time.
because you're a dumbass.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
why.
are dumb.
I guess
Like just because there's a reason
No,
why.
that's a real concern. They've never been.
Not
there.
a concern for me at all. Give me
It's a
Zach
huge
Gallen. I don't
concern.
care. I don't care.
No, I love Zach Gallen.
Don't care if he didn't pitch a playoff game. I'll
It's
take
a
him in the playoffs.
different
I love
fucking
Zach Gallen,
atmosphere.
but they have other guys.
I
You
don't.
don't think you think the playoffs are a different atmosphere?
I think you're playing better teams.
No, do you think it's a different the atmosphere? Is it a different?
Yes, the crowd is a little
A-
noisier. Yes.
A little noisier.
Give me Zach Gallen.
That's too.
And we're talking about the at
I love
bats.
Zach
We're
Gallen.
talking
It's the
about
whole
what
team.
the game actually means. It's not just a fucking Thursday.
That's true.
And
It's
you
not
want to talk about
Thursday.
pedigree? You want to talk about
You're
pedigree?
right,
If the
it's not
Diamondbacks
Thursday.
if the Diamondbacks
Unless it is
get
they are
Gold-
playing on Thursday, then it would be.
No, it's
and
not.
the Diamondbacks get
Some
Goldschmidt
playoff
back.
Clemmer.
games happen on Thursday.
Come on, listen to this. Listen to this.
Sure.
If you want to talk about pedigree.
Sure.
Last year, the Phillies made it to the playoffs, Smitty, what, for the first time in how many years? But like
Since
10
2011.
years?
Yeah.
So their pedigree was all gone. And they made it to the fucking World Series. So, like, pedigree matters.
That didn't make sense.
I think it did. I think it
That's
did.
the Delco booze right
I think
there.
you said how
Booze.
I think you said how they didn't have any pedigree and they still made
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
You
Okay,
kinda
wait,
did
so-
right. So
Not having pedigree helps you apparently.
Shit, so I just helped your argument.
Well, no,
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also,
Well, you're welcome.
Well, no, they played a team with pedigree and they got slapped. around.
Yeah, they didn't win because they didn't have the
They
pen.
played a team with some experience.
Oh, is that so? What happened in the rounds before that? Like, didn't they play the Cardinals? Who had
the Cardinals.
Wainwright, Molina,
Yeah,
and
that's-
Pujols, all that pedigree?
But they didn't win the World
Cardinals did win a playoff game.
45-year-old Pujols is like pedigree.
Yeah,
Okay,
Pujols. That was.
That
When
was-
does the pedigree expire? I need the rules for the
I really thought
pedigree.
he had one there.
Yeah,
for a
I
second.
think I did. They
Like, he
didn't win a
fucking
playoff
did
game.
something.
Name 3 players who are 90 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it expired. I guess I don't have the rules for pedigree. So when does pedigree count?
When's the last team? Let's do a couple of last World Series winners. Let's go
Okay.
through it.
We got
We got the Astros,
Braves.
Braves.
Yep. And how much pedigree do they have? Let's stop for the Braves for a second. Remember Acuna? Oh, no
They
pedigree.
have some.
They have
And
some.
Acuna wasn't even on that
That's
roster.
true.
Bummer.
They have a,
All right.
They don't, they have a
So
little
go to
bit.
that pitching staff. How many
I'm just
how many playoff appearances?
I'm
did
getting
pitching have?
demolished in the chat because I misspoke and said DeGrom might be back for the World Series, even though he's getting Tommy John.
He won't be
Like,
in-
you're
you
gonna,
can't even
you're
pitch-
gonna get fucking slapped across the face for saying Acuna was on that roster.
I didn't. I just said.
Let's go through other teams. Well, I don't know. Who was the last couple?
Even like the
DeGrom's not going to pitch next year.
Giants and COVID. Or excuse me, the Dodgers. I meant not Giants.
Dodgers.
Max
That was a
wasn't
fake
Max Fried on that staff? Had he even pitched in the playoffs
You
before?
say
that?
one fucking guy, and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Like,
And they've lost some of it. That's why they're not as
like
good.
Why don't the Dodgers win every year? They have more experience than every other team.
Like trying to troll us, but like you're being a fucking moron.
I don't
You
think
can't
I
have a
am.
conversation. I've realized.
Okay.
You can't, right? He cannot. He's
I mean,
always right.
He wants to give like the.
He knows because he's
apparently,
old.
like,
He knows
the
ball.
Dodgers and these guys stink, but those Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, Chicago, those frisky
You're
37,
talking now. You
39,
guys are conflating.
37, 39 Chicago Cubs. Got it, baby.
It's got to be a smart person that can join this show. You're
not you.
conflating two different arguments. I'm talking that the Cubs have a better chance of making the
second.
playoffs.
Hold that. Hold
I
that
never
thought.
said the Cubs
Hold
have
the
a
thought.
great chance of winning the World Series.
Hold the thought. Just want to talk to you guys about NASCAR's first ever street race in the heart of Chicago. The biggest names in NASCAR will battle on Sunday, July 2nd for the 100 laps in the NASCAR Cup Series inaugural Grant Park 220. Drivers will be tested on the unprecedented 12-turn Chicago street course running through iconic Grant Park. 2-day music festival featuring the Chainsmokers, Miranda Lambert, the Black Crowes, and Charlie Crockett. This is my type of NASCAR race. 100 laps is straight, right to the point. Chicago street race, July 2nd, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. Go watch it. NASCAR was awesome this week with everyone in Nashville. Now we're in Chicago. Go watch it there. Let's take this because this guy says lay off Clemmer. He's been on the line for a while. Dave, what's going on?
How you doing, Martin and fellas?
What's going on, dude?
You know, Marty, you gotta lay off Clemmer. Listen, he's a smart guy. He knows baseball. He knows statistics. He can analyze the teams pretty well. And dude, you were just brutal to him yesterday.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, he's gonna do that thing where he makes himself small. He's gonna look like a potted plant, and then he's gonna ambush your ass. Gotta be nice.
Dave is not wrong. I've thought about that.
He's gonna wrap around your head like a spider monkey.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, let me tell you, that's a guy. He'll hide for hours in that position and then fucking kill me. So I agree with you, Dave.
That's exactly what he's going to do. But, Clemmer, you need some riders, man. You need a squad. You need a crew. I'm going to start one.
I appreciate that.
He's going to start a crew for you.
It's going to be hard to find people who don't like Marty, so good luck.
I mean, actually, people like me. I realize I'm bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Marty. You're loved. You're loved.
I am loved. I mean, you're an asshole for saying that.
I hope
but
you guys keep this thing going,
that's what
man,
Clemmer
without
does.
Brandon.
That's what Clemmer, Marty doesn't people don't like Marty. It's like, what are you gonna do? What other ones you got? You've been an idiot on the show today. You've been an idiot on the show today.
I don't think I have been at all. I think I've been I'm using facts to prop up my argument as opposed to imaginary things.
Mike, what's going on?
Yahoo.com, right?
Yep. I don't see it here. I'm looking at everything right now. I don't see it from you. If you want to read
I will. I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Hey, Mike, what'd you order?
Oh, do you hear me?
Thank God we just got to Yahoo.com. Didn't get the beginning part of that.
Yeah, that's close. Yeah, sorry, just did a little work. But this is pretty good timing. You guys were all kind of talking shit on Clemmer, but I wanted just to give him a little shout out for his picks on Twitter. He's killing it. Besides Lance Lynn having his best game of the year, and I know this is gambling, but the dude could be damn near undefeated. So.
Oh, he's 6-4.
I know that's not a lot of dick riding either. I just wanted to give a shout out.
I appreciate that. Thank you, and good luck with whatever you got.
Damn near undefeated. You're 6-4.
6-4 is pretty good.
It is good, but you can't say you could be damn near undefeated when you're 6-4. Let's talk to our guy Mark in Philly. What's going on, dude?
What's up, guys? Been far too long. Happy to be talking to my Pick Central crew. I've got a biased pick for you guys here today. So about a month ago, I was at the Phillies game. I saw Jamison Tyone pitch against the Phillies in person. That guy was throwing meatballs unlike anything I've ever seen before at the MLB level. I think the Phillies chased him out of there in 2 innings. They play again today. Jamison Tyone on the mound for the Cubs against Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. Ranger's actually been the Phillies' best pitcher about over the last month or so, and Jamison Tyone has really bad numbers against the Phillies. So I'm taking the Phillies pretty much every way you can imagine. Money line, over. I'm all in on the Phillies today.
All right.
Tyone's been horrible this year. He's talking about the Cubs' issues. That's a big one. He's been a nightmare, and they have him signed for such a long-term deal. I don't know what you can do with him. I got to imagine he's going to start pitching better. I would
talk shit about Jamison Tyone. He's a nice guy.
Oh, well, he was so good for the Yankees last year, and his fall has been odd to watch.
He's someone who I think you just try to work through it. Like people,
I think you're right.
Pitchers have bad years, bad.
That's what he did last year too. He had a
and
couple bad.
What did he get? 4 or 5 year contract? I mean,
yeah. And the Phillies, and I like Mark and Philly. The Phillies hit him well earlier in this year. Phillies are struggling to score runs unless like teams are literally giving them runs through walks and hit batsmen. Like they're struggling to score runs. I don't see either team scoring above 4 runs in this game. But
I think we just need to reiterate how stupid you've been on this show.
I don't think I've been stupid at all.
No, I thought we were gonna go on. We've been hard.
Keep going with this.
No, we can give and take, and it's all calling it dumbass is all in good fun.
That's fine. I mean,
I know. I think on both ends, there's been some arguments have been swung in certain ways to help and then swung in certain ways to help.
Listen, this room.
I mean, I accidentally argued for Clemmer's
that
case.
was you.
That was
You were
very
probably
so-
the
Yeah,
dumbest.
I mean,
one.
that was a
I'll
Don't
take-
Go special right
Yeah, there you
there.
go. I'll
Actually,
take that one on
in the
me.
middle of
I'll
Boo's
take that on me.
speech, in the middle of Boo's speech, you heard him start thinking like, "What the fuck
Yeah.
are they talking about?"
Yeah.
It stopped. I knew it in his head. It was
I
like,
also look
where
at-
was I going with this?
Already stopped his World Series thing before we got to 2019, which the Nationals won. But you would think their pedigree would have been terrible. They had never even won a playoff series before.
All right,
And they win the World
stop
Series.
trying to troll for a second.
I'm not trolling. No, I'm not trolling. I'm saying facts.
not-
How is that trolling?
You just can't
it's not
think
trolling.
about
What are we
any-
doing
no,
here?
no, but you can't like pedigree matters for there's
It's
a
not
for-
the end all be
It
all. But I
doesn't-
do
it
believe
matters
It
a
doesn't
part
matter
of it.
very much at all, Marty. I'm sorry to break
No,
it. It
does-
just
that's
doesn't.
where, like, you
Talent
can't-
matters.
You can't.
Talent wins baseball
my
games,
God.
not pedigree.
You can't have an
I-
argument
I-
at all.
I
I
just-
could see your side of things. You can never see any side of anything we're saying, and it's not just me saying.
You're not
it.
saying anything that's worth looking at.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
When
we're
we say the
not.
Cubs are
A
37, 39, you're like, well, it
history-
doesn't matter. It does matter.
How many
it does
guys have
matter a
like
lot,
a,
of course
a
it
history of like success in the playoffs? Like we've seen, and especially I think in the MLB, we've seen it a lot. It's where guys have had have a history of like playing well in the playoffs. Like having a team like the Astros that has like many guys who have have played very well in playoffs, have deep runs, have won championships. That doesn't matter at all to you when it comes playoff time.
If a guy has a great,
I'm not
playoff-
saying it's like the
I'm-
end all be
Ask me a
all.
question. I got to answer
I
it.
got you. I'm saying.
All right,
Slow
let me
down.
answer.
Go ahead, go ahead,
To
go ahead.
relax.
I need to be able to answer the question.
Go ahead, go ahead. No, answer,
He was
answer.
We gotta
explaining
check
his
Clemmer's blood
point.
pressure.
Oh,
Jesus
Clemmer's fine.
Christ.
Clemmer's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so if you have a guy who has a great playoff track record like Kurt Schilling, John Smoltz, I think that does play some sort of role in looking at things, right? It's like, all right, this guy's been unconscious in the playoffs. So when you have extreme situations like that, it's like, all right, I do look at that, but from a team perspective, I don't really care for most players. It doesn't seem to matter that much. And even with a guy like Kurt Schilling, if the team isn't very good around him, if the team isn't that great, then I'm going to take the other team. I don't care if he has great playoff experience.
That's fair. I just think a team like I guess I'm arguing for the Astros because I think they just have I think they have a significant core that's been there through this long period of time. The guys have hit well in the playoffs, like the Altuves, like
They're just good
Bregman.
players, though.
Of course they are, but
It doesn't matter like what they did in the playoffs. They're just really talented
No,
guys.
of course. But I'm saying, but they specifically have shown I guess maybe I feel it more because I've seen the Yankees just be hit so well in the regular season, hit so shitty in the playoffs. Where I feel like, and I think we've seen other teams too, and obviously part of that is because the pitching in the playoffs is much higher caliber.
Yes.
Everything's so much more pinned just tight because you're day to day. You could potentially lose and go home on a given night. So I understand all those elements of it factor in. But I just think a team like the Astros or maybe like the Dodgers pre-losing a few of these guys. I do think that matters when you have a lineup of guys where half or even more of that lineup have shown consistent success in the playoffs. I just feel like that's a team I'd want to back in the playoffs as opposed to a team that hasn't been there before. And like I said, it's not an end-all, be-all, but I just feel more comfortable when I feel like they've shown they can do it. And I do think you see some teams come in maybe it'll happen to the Diamondbacks this year, maybe not. Maybe they'll play well, but it wouldn't shock me to see a team like Diamondbacks, who I'm a big fan of, come in this year. Maybe they don't play so well, but they have a young core that they're building on that can push moving forward. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I just think a team like the Astros or these teams that have been around that have like I said, a big core of guys that have done well in the playoffs, I think that matters.
I'm always going to go with the more talent. So Jeremy Pena, for instance, he had a 95 OPS plus last year. He had an amazing playoffs, right? Won the World Series MVP. And then this year he's back to around a 95 OPS. I don't think he's going to do what he did in the playoffs last year. I think Jeremy Pena is the guy with the 95 OPS plus. So that's who I expect. I don't think October flips a switch and he becomes a superhero. I always look at the track record and look at the analytics behind that.
Yeah, but he was a rookie last year. I think he needed a couple more years to kind of get that base going. Because I know you watched the playoffs last year in the World Series. He was really fucking good in the World Series.
He was
really good.
He was playing really well.
Really. I can't remember a rookie ever being that good in the playoffs.
And for me, I say it's a clutch team thing. When I say clutch, I don't just mean bottom of the ninth. You know what I mean? I mean just any hits in the playoffs are in some level, unless it's fucking 12-0. You know what I mean? I think there's a clutch gene level. Certain guys just have that that game. I'll call it a gamer, a gamer type. You step up big games, and I think some guys don't have that to their
Let me ask you a
detriment.
question
I think,
about,
I think the Astros have shown.
I don't believe any of that unless it's measurable. I don't care or believe it.
What about like Clayton Kershaw, right? Like recently he's been a lot better in the playoffs, but like he was always lights out.
Fair example.
Lights out in the.
Wait a second. Unless it's measurable, I don't care to believe it. Much like the Cubs' potential.
Yeah.
No, but I'm using facts to back that up. I'm not using this imaginary clutch gene.
No, you're using.
But I wouldn't really call it imaginary if you like have a great batting average in the playoffs.
Is it
I
that
would
much
call that
better
measurable.
than you're usually hitting? So like a Jeremy Pena situation, he's way outperforming what he did in regular season. Derek Jeter, his lines are pretty equal to what he did in the regular season.
But what about
he was
Clayton,
always
but
great.
What
He's a
about that
great
Clayton
player.
Kershaw thing? What I was saying, like he was awful in the playoffs for a long time, and he was like a Cy Young almost every year. So what about that? Like that, it
No,
does.
it's something I've spent a lot of time thinking about.
Pressure does get to people.
Right.
A lot of time thinking about
I
it.
have. No, Clayton Kershaw's playoff day has been incredibly interesting. If you're a baseball
Kept
fan,
me up at night.
this is the stuff I think about. And so is it because Kershaw's facing better lineups? Or is it something mental with him? Is it a situation where the end of the year, does he wear down? Look at his September splits. Does he pitch better in the first half of the season traditionally? So, like, what are the different factors going on with Kershaw? It's a really interesting question. I don't have an answer for it.
I think it's the pressure of being that number one guy in the playoffs.
So he doesn't feel pressure during the regular season, but once the playoffs start, he feels a different kind of pressure. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I mean,
See, like that's where I think it's reasonable that there can be like there is. I'm not saying that's like exactly
No,
what
I'm not,
the problem
I'm not saying
is.
it's exactly.
But I think to totally discredit, there's like no difference in pressure. I think is.
Of course, it's difference in pressure. I agree with that. Right? It's a different. It's like Marty said. To his credit, it's a different atmosphere for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to choose the talent because I can't get inside their heads. But I can look at what they've done, and I can see what kind of player they are, and I'm going to use that to evaluate things. I'm not going to care what they did the year before, necessarily in a playoff.
So when Clayton
in a
Kershaw
short,
does
small
it,
sample size playoff series.
when Clayton Kershaw did it like years and years
Right.
and years in a row, wouldn't you take that into account though?
That's why I said I spent a lot of time thinking about this. And those are the different factors that I've come up with. Now, Clayton Kershaw has proven not to be a durable guy. He hasn't made 30 starts since 2015. I think a lot of that had to do with him wearing down. His body physically couldn't handle the long season. That's what I believe was happening. I don't believe he was getting nervous.
All right, you don't believe in, like, do you think playoffs they think the same?
I don't know what they think. I can't measure that. So if I'm placing picks, if I'm making bets, I cannot control their psyches. I can't see that. But I can see data, which will help me make an informed decision.
That's what we're doing here. It's stats versus.
I
get
for me.
both.
I do.
I get both.
I do believe in stats. I just think there's like a. I do believe in like
Not all
there's
stats.
like a feel. There is a feel element as well like that just exists. I don't think it's like I don't think any one thing, whether it's stats, this that should, and none of it should be end all be all. I do think there's like a sweet like combination kind of all things put together, and you're never gonna be always right or always wrong or this way or the other. But
Let's do picks real fast. Big Ev, you go first.
on the Pirates Monday night today, so a little bit on hot ice. I just think the Padres are in a bad spot. Head to Pittsburgh today. I think we might be sleeping with Rich Hill on the mound. I think it's a good number. Love the Marlins Red Sox over. Alcantara hasn't been what he's been. Hulk's been very hittable. Red Sox been a great over team. And the Yankees today, Brito's been very he's had some good starts and some bad starts. Even without Judge, I just think we're a much better team than the Yankees. I'll take him on the money line.
I got Yankees minus 1.5 to get them at plus money. I got Reds. I got Padres minus 1.5. I got the Marlins, and then I'm just taking the Rockies. And whenever someone's 200, I take them.
Okay, yeah. So I'm taking the Diamondbacks.
I'm just gonna let everyone know that you probably shouldn't do that.
Just take every plus 200.
That's just my own thing that I like to do because sometimes it hits and I feel smart.
I'm taking the Diamondbacks money line. Zach Gallen is at home. He has an ERA, I believe, of 1 at home this year, a 1.00, which is insane. Astros money line, Framber Valdez in the mound. It's against the Cardinals, so I just that number's the Cardinals haven't announced a starter yet, so let me just say that first off. So it's always dangerous picking that, but I don't care who they put up. They could put up Jordan Montgomery. I think Jack Flaherty's had some issues too, so I don't really like their rotation very much, but I like Framber Valdez a lot. And then the Angels, I have minus 1.5. Shohei Ohtani. I mean, he's on the mound tonight. He's been incredible, and the White Sox offense is horrible. Check out their stats in June offensively.
Smitty.
Cubs Phillies under 8.5. Like I said, I don't think either team scores above 4 runs. Rangers Suarez last 4 starts has been absolutely lights out. Twins Braves, you have Elder versus Joe Ryan. Lock it in, and D-backs Gallon Day. I also like the Pirates too. I took them on hot ice. I'll be taking them tonight.
Like the Pirates?
Yeah, this is a game. I mean, we talked about on Barstool Baseball. Padres are coming off of 2 games losses at home. They spent the night in Pittsburgh last night. I mean, if you want to get right game, it's not in Pittsburgh against Rich Hill's 30-mile-an-hour slop.
I believe they're 15-33 since May 1st. Is that
They're 1-9 in their last 10, and I'm taking them plus 160.
Love that.
Did you see Manoah's getting smacked around in the minors?
Yeah, Manoah's trash.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
He got pulled. Less. I don't know if it was yesterday. It looks like it probably was. 1.2 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs, a walk.
That tells me obviously it's not even physical at that point.
Oh, he just.
I want to say this quote from Brian Windhorst before we go about the Cavs. I have some speculation. There's a couple of outlandish stuff that I'm not going to say right now because I'd get in trouble. I wish I could tell you more, and I know I shouldn't tease you. You should go to jail for saying that.
And why even put the tweet?
Why are you in?
Isn't he a reporter?
He said it on ESPN.
Yes.
Like, isn't his job to report outlandish things?
I mean, I guess you're not allowed. There's some things you can't. There's trust. That's why they get these information. But like, why tell me?
I'm sorry. This just says Pirates are wearing their City Connect jerseys tonight. Apparently,
Pirates baby.
Best jerseys in
Pirates.
baseball. The Pirates City Connect jerseys. Sorry, Mush. Go ahead.
You're good.
Clemmer can't even like a joke. Clemmer can't even
Clemmer,
go with a
it's
joke.
just like it's stats for nothing else matters in the world.
It's
just
numbers, or you're just an idiot.
which is just like not how you should live, because then you look like him. All right, that's the show.
God forbid you bring up a jersey.